Well, this place takes me back. It was right after everything went down. I ended up in a triage just like this. And everywhere you looked, you just saw families torn apart. The whole damn world seemed to have turned upside down in a blink. Yes, it was.
I can't imagine losing someone you love like that. Losing everything that you know. I'm sorry, Joel.
That's okay, Ellie. Well, no matter how hard you try, I guess you can't escape your past. Thank you.
Maybe those black market smugglers back in Boston?
Do you not? Joel crossed a lot of people. I don't see the point in guessing.
Okay.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And we are back for another video discussing The Last of Us Part 3. This is something I've actually wanted to discuss for the last 2.5 years, and since we just had the video on The Last of Us Part 3 pretty much almost being 100% confirmed in production, I want to make a video on a possibility I've had and a thought that I'd like to see happen or potentially be referenced in The Last of Us Part 3. And that is in regards to The Last of Us Part 3 being a prequel game or it being introduced with Joel's past / flashbacks. I think it is a very likely possibility that in some shape or form, Joel and Ellie are the Last of Us, and Joel, we know, if you played Part 2, is dead. So I would think, if they want to bring Joel into the story, why not have Part 3 be somewhat more connected to his past? So I'm going to discuss why I think The Last of Us Part 3 will either be one of two things, like I just said, a prequel, or it will be heavily centered on Joel's past, meaning there will be flashbacks that bring the time gaps between the outbreak happening to Part 1. Remember the 20 years, Tommy and Joel, there's a lot that I want to discuss with that. If you want to see more theory, prediction type videos like these, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. If you go for 1,500 likes, greatly would appreciate that. Be sure to subscribe. Join about the near 50% of people are subscribed by hitting that red subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Join about the near 100,000 people that have all notifications on for the channel. If you enjoy My Last of Us content, please consider doing those things and follow us on social media down below. Alright, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Would you like to see a prequel? Centered thing? Flashbacks? Let me know down below in the comments. Let's get straight into it. With The Last of Us Part 2's ending, it was an open ending. Basically, Ellie goes off on her own. Her biggest fear of her being alone is finally realized. She has nothing, nobody, and she ends up leaving that home to find a new life or go back to Jackson. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. There's a lot of possibilities that I have discussed in previous videos, but there were notes that hinted that Ellie could be returning back to Jackson to reunite with Dina. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. Could she even be looking for Tommy? Since Tommy and Maria are separated, we don't know if Tommy even went back to Jackson. Number of possibilities could have happened with that. But with The Last of Us Part 3 likely being a redemption story, why I think it's going to be redemptive is that Ellie feels contempt for not being able to sacrifice herself for humanity. Abby finding the fireflies in the Catalina Island, and now potentially them crossing paths again, which I think is very, very likely in Part 3. Could we now see with these fireflies in the Catalina Island from the Utah base, could we see a potentiality of the past being brought up? Joel and Tommy. One of the biggest theories / rumblings that the community has wanted is Naughty Dog to finally answer what happened in between the 20 years that so traumatizing for Tommy and Joel. They had to kill a bunch of innocent people and smugglers, the Fedra soldiers. You know, we heard a story, I believe in Part 2 about Tommy and I believe Eugene. They had to fight, or at least they had to kill a couple soldiers in a Fedra base. If this isn't even Part 3, they could do a spin-off game on this. This is just, it's such a interesting possibility and concept that I would see why Naughty Dog would never explore / consider. If it ain't in a part 3, that's fine. Put it in a spin-off game. But I think why I think this is going to be in part 3 is I think whatever villain / adversary could be connected to Joel and Tommy's past, because these fireflies at this Canley Island, I think, could have some connection with Joel. Very likely, it's a possibility. Same with Tommy. And why not have them be brought up, and then we could see, for example, a new main character pop up from that, and them reference the past with Joel and Tommy, where we could play as Joel or Tommy and finally get to see the past, or we could have Tommy tell us a story about this. The number of possibilities they could do with this is high. They could approach it so many different ways. Even if they didn't make part 3 a quote-unquote prequel, they could easily introduce flashbacks where Joel would still be connected to the story. And when I made a poll, for example, and said, what character would you like to see be the main playable character? And I put Joel. People were like, oh, why would you put Joel? Think about it. They could still make Joel playable. Again, people may not care because he's already dead and it would be in the past, but to me, that would be perfect. Make up for us not having a lot of time playing as Joel in part 2. Make us play as him in flashbacks that connect to the story of part 3. I think that would be a 10 out of 10 move from Naughty Dog. Again, people could say, oh, Joel's story's over, he's dead, whatever, just leave it be. I think that's not a very wise decision for them, especially considering how many people were not on board with Abby's storyline. I think introducing Joel in a different way and explaining his past, which is very secret and not much is known about it, in part 3 would be genius. I really do hope Naughty Dog considers to approach this, because will the HBO show, let me talk about that, will the HBO show introduce this? Will the HBO show actually go into Tommy and Joel's 20 years? I don't believe they will, because based on the images I've seen, it looks like they're going to expand more on Sarah's past. There's been some images from Warner Brothers that just released on the HBO show that shows Sarah before the outbreak starts. Looks like she's, got a backpack, she's going to school. So they're going to expand more upon that. Is there a possibility in the HBO show they may reference it? Maybe they won't show it, but they'll reference more of Tommy and Joel's past in those 20 years? I definitely think so, because it seems like Tommy's going to have a bigger role in the HBO show than he did in part 1, the original. He was barely in it, if I'm being honest. So why not expand more? Tommy says, for example, I have nightmares from those years. Why can't Naughty Dog give us this in a part 3? Or at least in the HBO show to a major degree. I really do hope they do that, because I think the majority of the fan base would want this. And if you don't, that's fair. I respect your opinion. But either in the HBO show, maybe this will be the introduction to this, and then in part 3 we will get a big explanation on all this. Because again, part 1 story is going to be different than the HBO show. I'll know that. There's clearly stuff they're going to be adding in the HBO show that they weren't able to do in the game. And there's a possibility that this Tommy Joel 20-year at least could be introduced or expanded upon more. But again, based on the images, doesn't look like they're going to do much with it. So I hope part 3 is the thing that really puts an expansion on this, or if they ever do a prequel game. In my personal opinion, the chances of this happening are 7 out of 10. That at least it's expanded upon or introduced in a bigger light in part 3. So I'm hopeful of that. Alright, so I think I'll give you guys kind of a good idea of what I could see, but just, I really hope Naughty Dog considers doing this very, very soon, whether it's in part 3 spin-off game, or at least in the HBO show to a minor, major degree, we'll have to see. But if you guys did enjoy this video and want to see more possibilities, theories on part 3, let me know down in the comments any theories you'd like me to discuss or possibilities you have for part 3. I definitely want to discuss more. We're still far, far away from part 3, but these videos are very invigorating. You can tell by the way I talk. I'm very passionate about this. I know a lot. So anything you guys have, let me know down in the comments. Drop a like and subscribe if you guys enjoy this. Let's go for 1,500 likes again. Join my Discord. Follow my social media down below. Stay connected with us. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And I'll catch you guys in the next video very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Peace and love. Bye-bye.